Alright guys, so let's start with our last lesson of today's class. It is at page number 41, Listening and Speaking, a NEET Solution. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on social problems, especially at the problem of unemployment. So before we start checking the instructions for every activity, it could be very useful that you think about the implications, the reasons, consequences, or maybe even possible solutions for this social situation of unemployment. So you can think about that for around 2 minutes, and when you finish, we can move to the activity number one and its instructions, which are: read the text about needs. What are they? Choose the correct information about them. Compare your answers with a partner. In this case, the text that it mentions is just this one that you have on the right side of the page. So please read this text and answer the specific questions that we have here. You have around 3 or 4 minutes to answer this. And well, as you can see, NEET is the abbreviation of the phrase in English not employment, education, or training. So this is linked to the activity number 2, where we have these instructions. Listen and check. What surprised you about the figures? Figures means statistics, or numbers in this case. Is there a word for need in your language? For example, here in Mexico, do we have like any colloquial way to call this kind of people in this situation? The next question in instructions is: do you know the figure, the statistics for needs in your country? So in order to do this, I recommend you to Google this information so you can have like the national context of Mexico in this social condition. All right, so you can take about the same 3 minutes to answer these questions. When you finish this part, you can move on to the activity number 3. Um, it says, listen to 3 young people talking about being a NEET. Take notes about them under these headings. After each one, discuss your answers. Well, in this case, you need to go once again to page 127 to the track 5.8. And well, there you will read the story of these 3 young people: Daryl, 21 years old, Kara, 22 years, and Lucas, 26 years. And you need to answer these 3 questions for every of them. The first question is, or well, you need to identify his or her past experiences and problems. In the second point, you need to identify the turning point in their lives. A turning point refers to the moment where something very important happens at the life of a person that makes it change. And in the activity, in the point number 3, you need to look for immediate plans and hopes for the future. Once again, for every of these youngsters. All right, so you can take around 10 minutes to solve this activity. After that, you can move on to the activity number 4, which says, what challenges do you think each person will face? How might their new experience benefit them? And finally, do you know anyone who is in a similar situation? So you can write the answers to these questions on your notebooks, and you can take around 5 minutes to answer them. Well, when you have finished, you can continue to the spoken English section, where we're going to focus on the use of the word think. As you know, and as we have said before, in English, they usually tend to recycle words in different contexts and for different situations. This is the case of the word think. Look at instructions at point number 1. They say, look at examples of the word think from track 5.8 in exercise 3. So, sitting at a desk just wasn't my kind of thing. And the second example says, things are pretty tough here right now. So, what equivalent word or phrase can you use to substitute think in the first case? And which equivalent word can you use, or what are you referring to in the case number two? So you can have around 1 minute to think about this, and we'll explain it in a moment. Well, so in the first case, sitting at a desk wasn't my kind of thing. In this case, thing could be substituted with the word um, vocation, for example. Sitting at a desk wasn't my kind of vocation or my kind of activity. And in the second, things are pretty tough here right now. What are things? Well, like the social situation or like the social context. So as you can see, thing is a very flexible word. The next instruction is find more examples of thing or things in plural on the same page 127. So try to identify at least one more example per each person. All right. Well, when you have done that, you can continue to the point number 2, where it says, ask and answer the questions with a partner about you. And well, so we have like different topics. We're gonna be checking these answers, we're gonna be asking and answering this at our WhatsApp group. The questions are, how are things with you at the moment? What's the thing you like most about learning English? The next, do you like doing your own thing? Is horse racing your kind of thing? Do you ever say the wrong thing in company? Do you have a thing about wearing fur? If your friend keeps you waiting, do you make a big thing of it? Okay, so remember that also for this kind of cases, it's very useful to have your dictionaries or translators ready so you can check like the different meanings of these words depending on the context. Anyway, remember that you can also consult me, of course, and send me your specific doubts to the WhatsApp group. And we're going to check the different meanings of thing uh, also there. You can take around 5 or maybe 7 minutes to answer this with your personal information or with your personal opinion. All right. So, and finally, we have the section of what do you think? The instructions are, how can young people get from NEET to EAT? It means educated, employed, and trained. So it says, look at the list of possible solutions from around the world. Which of them would work best and why? So here we have like some possible solutions to the NEET situation, which include topics such as military service or voluntary work, apprenticeships, one-to-one mentoring from a personal advisor, free transport books, access to ET, grants for higher education, help in setting up a small business, school-based education with in-company training. So, according to these topics, you need to give your own opinions to which one um, could work best here in Mexico, for example. We're gonna be sharing our opinions and suggestions at our group and also at Google Classroom. Well, guys, that would be all for today. Thank you very much for attending. Remember that you can start solving the corresponding exercises to practice this more at your workbooks. For this week, you can start solving the pages 31 and 32 at your workbooks to get more exposure and more practice of these topics. So that's all for today. It was really nice working together and we stay in touch. So take care and see you soon.